How you doing? Welcome to the Community Crossfire, another point of view. I'm your host, Norman Oliver. Wow, do I have a hot show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the County Executive, Tom Gordon. Tonight, I'm going to call him the comeback kid. How you doing, Tom?
Good to see you, my
Welcome
friend.
to the show. Before I get to Tom, I usually talk about a few things. You know, I've been meaning to talk about this probably for like 3 weeks. What I don't understand is how can, maybe it's just me, the Christina School District, right, going to have a meeting. You got a guy like Dr. Freeman Williams who's about 6'3", 6'4", about 220, 230. Got a guy on the board like John Young, about 6'3", 280. And they got to have cops there, security guards, the National Guards. And I think Jay Street's like 6'1", 180. So you're going to have all that. I don't believe Freeman Williams is scared of Jay Street. I don't know if John Young is. But why? They can't be serious. You guys can't be serious. I've been wanting to talk about this for 3 weeks. They actually having a cop at a school board meeting because Jay Street sends out a letter. Dr. Williams, I got to call you, man, because I don't think that was, I definitely don't think that could not have come from your desk. I mean, like, I'm really like, I was tripping about that for 3 weeks. I don't even know why I haven't even talked about it. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I told you again, and you appointed Herman Holloway Jr. to the board, Mr. County Executive. I told everyone that Herman Holloway Jr. was going to be the president of the board. Nobody believed me because I'll give you information that nobody else will give you. And also, you know, I talked to everybody, and I talked to Herman Holloway Jr. He had some concerns, but I also talked to Fred Purnell. And Fred Purnell was telling me that there's only 6 people left on the board. Like, everybody else resigned. Herman ran everybody off the damn board. I think that's funny. I want to have Herman on and Fred Purnell and have a boxing match. But I think what Fred also told me, Fred said that I guess he don't watch the show, but other people watch the show for him. And somebody said, well, Fred Norman said that, you know, you wasn't returning Herman's calls for 12 years, but now you're going to have to call him Mr. Chairman. Yeah, and when we were talking, I said, yeah, I said that. So whoever told him, you know, maybe it was somebody who worked for him, so I'm not going to beat you up. But when I say what I say on the show, I'm not ducking anybody. And I told him on the phone, yeah, I did say that. You got to call him Mr. Chairman. I think it's funny. I mean, the guy, just think, man, you don't talk to a guy for 12 years. Now he's pretty much your boss.
Yep.
Oh, God, I'm on the road right now. Okay. I got to get to the county executive. But also, on this show, last week, I had the U.S. Senator Chris Coons on the show. And what I said on the show, because I break news to you. Look, I give you news that you don't have to worry about for 5-10 years because I give it to you early. I said, I heard. See, I don't talk to just the same old people. I talk to everyone. White, black, red, Hispanic. I said, Beau Biden, our Attorney General, was thinking about running against you, Senator Coons. He said, well, I'm not sure about that. Guess what? I got a picture of me and Beau Biden. I was at the train station. He happened to walk by. I told him, I said, are you going to run against him? He said, it's on the table. So I didn't lie. I don't have to lie. I asked the man to his face, are you going to run against him? He said, I'm thinking about it. So I'll break the news to him, Mr. County Executive. I'll break the news, and people, a lot of times they just want to read the paper. Right. Rather than look at Delaware Way, rather than go to Delaware Grapevine. You know, some of the people like, Cecilia Cohen, Nancy, and these folks, some of these people got good information. I even got better information, but they won't listen to me. Okay, I got a few announcements, now that I beat everyone up. Oh, God, that is too funny. It's too funny. First of all, congratulations to Alexis Nickel and Shawan Curtis for a great, they got married yesterday. Alexis Nickel used to coach my basketball league for 15, 20 years. He was a great guy, man. His wedding was like something that you see on The Rich and Famous, like at the Hotel DuPont, like $100,000 wedding. I have no idea. That it was a great wedding. Also, got an opportunity to go to John Sheehy's retirement party. Remember John Sheehy? John Sheehy from this city. John Sheehy's retirement party was incredible. John, congratulations. And don't forget, tomorrow we had the Millie Cannon event at the Monday Club. Millie Cannon birthday jazz celebration. It's going to be incredible. Also, they're going to give out a $500 scholarship there. Bob Cannon and his sister Terry, these guys, and Vinny and everyone does a great job. It's at the Monday Club from 6 until. Don't just come up there looking for free food. Bring a pot, bring something to eat. But that's tomorrow, and they're going to give out $600 scholarship, $500. Then Bob texts me to say, please say happy birthday to my daughter. This guy, you know what happens is you say one thing,
Right.
then they want you to make all kinds of announcements free. You know, ain't gonna give me, okay, who am I saying this to? Okay, happy birthday to Brittany Harvey. That's Bob's daughter. She's 21. So Bob, you owe me.
Congratulations.
I think that's about it, man. You know what? Also, Tom, let me ask you a question. What do you think about Dennis Williams, right, the mayor? You were an ex-cop, right? I mean, your honest opinion. What do you think about the security that he has with him? If I can ask you something, because I know you guys are pretty close.
We're very close, but he's taken on a lot of drug dealers in the city. He's trying to break up what's been around for 8, 10, 16 years. So he's probably got information about threats on him.
Okay.
And he's also talking about, I think he has 5, he'll come down, but until you walk a mile in his shoe, it knows what he's up against. And he's taken a lot of guns off the street in the last 3 months, and he's arrested a lot of criminals. So I wouldn't want to judge him. Well, he's in the #1 crime capital, murder capital of the world, it's been considered. And he's got to do a lot of draconian, dangerous things. So let's not judge the mayor until we see what's going to happen this summer.
Okay, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. You served as county executive,
Yes.
right? Then how long were you out of office? Like 10 years, 12?
8 years.
What do you see different now than your first term?
We've got a lot of the same people. The first term, I think the state was in much better shape. We had the DuPont company, we had 2 automobile plants, we had MBNA, so we had a vibrant state. Right now I see a state where we lost most of the good paying jobs. We lost the DuPont company pretty much. We're losing AstraZeneca, the automobile plants have left, MBNA is gone with their high paying jobs. So that's why you're seeing all the problems I think you're seeing in the city. You know, it's poverty driven, it's opportunity driven, and that's a lot different. I'm seeing homeless in a county that I never saw during my term. I never went to a community meeting and they talked about the homeless in the parks. It was always in the city. So I do see a difference, and it has to do with the economy and the standard of living, which I think is dropping everywhere.
Okay. Talking to the county executive, if you just joined in. Mr. Executive, let me ask you, make me understand this, and make everyone else understand it. When you come into office, right, and we have a lot of folks might not even understand the whole Stoltz project and, you know, the traffic studies and things of that nature I do. But if you have the citizens who are suing you guys, then you can jump on board and say, okay, I'm on board with the citizens suing us. How does that work?
Well, it was a bad decision by both county executives. There was a lot of influence, and they overrode the system. The planner told me that County Executive Coons ordered him to do it. So there was a lot of information for me to look at, and a development of that size should have had a traffic impact study, and they shouldn't have worried about who it was, and they should have done the right thing. So it was an easy decision to side with the right side of the equation on that.
I had the county executive, I had the senator here, Coons, who was county executive, and I read and people send me stuff, and he said he had nothing to do with Pam Scott, who was the attorney, whatever, you know, who worked, you know, her husband was county executive, who wrote some of the stuff, and you say the opposite.
She absolutely was the attorney, and he was absolutely, no county executive has ever got involved in rezoning like that. He did it, obviously, for political benefit or contribution.
He actually let her, you saying he actually let her write the law?
Oh, he did. No, what you're talking about is they agreed that nothing would happen without the Stoltz people knowing about it or approving it. In this case, she wrote a letter for the community for him, which, why would you do that? You know, they overrode the system, and they gave him a very nice, what would have been 40 acres of commercial at the entrance of Wilmington.
Wow. So what's going to happen with this?
There's a lawsuit in Tuesday, a week from this Tuesday. The judge will make a ruling, and it's probably 50-50 right now in chances.
So what happens, right, if you could walk us through this? Alvin, and if you could get us kind of dialogue, because this is kind of important for people who are watching. So what happens if he rules in your favor, and what happens if he rules in council's favor, or?
Rules in council's favor, he's going to be allowed to build that gigantic piece of property right outside the city, 40 acres of commercial, restaurants, hotels. If he rules in, say, of our county's favor, they have to come back to the table, and I abide by the rules.
What impact will that have on the city?
I think if it goes forward, it's going to destroy the city.
How?
Well, because can you imagine something the size of King of Prussia Mall, one partial outside the city of Wilmington with restaurants and hotels? We're trying to bring the city back right now. We don't need that large of a development with that much commercial. How are you going to ever kickstart the city with what we're dealing with right now? It's going to cannibalize.
So in other words, you envision if they built, I mean, because again, we don't know, and we're just here talking. So you see more shops, more
40 acres of shops.
Wow.
Box stores.
So these folks won't even have to come in the city for nothing.
No, outside the city, no wage tax. It'll take from the city.
Wow.
There's no chance of bringing anything large back. As we tried to focus on the city, the new mayor's trying to focus on commerce, and he's got a lot of discussion going with business community. He's fighting very hard to turn it around.
Wow, this is interesting. So when you were county executive 8 years ago, 10, whatever it was, you had a council of 7 people.
Right.
Now you have a council of 13.
Right.
It was a little easier managing. You could count up to 4. Now you got to count up to 7. How have you found that to be different?
Twice as hard, probably.
Yeah.
Twice as hard.
I mean, do you find it been a little bit more adversarial?
Maybe a little. I just think it's still early. That I think if we do the right things, we'll be fine.
Okay. You seem to get involved a lot more. I guess you had last time, but more this time with city and county, kind of coordinating things. Why?
The city is the most important part for the county to grow, for the county to do well, because it's the largest city inside of the county. On the outskirts, we're faced with the same problems the city does. As the city begins to fail, and it is because it has all the poverty, all the homeless, all the problems that you would have with a city that's in failing. Most of the people that you're having these problems with have lost their jobs. Mm-hmm. Very little opportunity. You got like 40% of non-taxable property, so you're getting all the nonprofits, and it's going to spiral out of control. And if you look, probably the biggest problem in the city right now is trying to figure out how we're going to feed the people that can't feed themselves. And if you look at the food banks or anywhere you see where there's kitchens that are serving food, the lines are around the corner. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've got serious problems that we need to stop what we're doing and try to figure out how we're going to fix it, because it is the most important thing in this state, in this county, is the city of Wilmington. And that's just a fact.
Do you think that there will come a time where they're going to annex properties? I mean, the city has an annexing problem, of course,
We want to work on enterprise zones, which means the problem with the city is they stopped them from annexing at 65. Mm-hmm. The only city in the state, by the way. Middletown's growing very well, and other towns are growing and doing well. But they said the city couldn't annex, which I think is unconstitutional. And then the city has to do a wage tax because it's going to lose its opportunity to grow. And you get property tax increases, and then you get this thing called traffic tax, where every time you move anywhere in the city, you're getting a blinky light. The city needs revenue. It needs to be able to grow. So we're going to work with the city, around the city, and do enterprise zones where, if we can, it'll be allow them to develop on the outskirts of the city. And we're already starting discussions on that. You got a fantastic planning department in the city, and we're going to try to work with them to allow them to take down some property and develop it.
What would you say was the most frustrating thing to you when you were sitting out those 8 years, looking at the other county executives?
Looking at the way they destroyed all the things I did. I mean, the county executive went right after the parks and gave this park away, that park away, or stopped the Sleep Under the Stars, which we're bringing back, which was a great community event, hardly cost anything. And the dismantling of a lot of the things that I thought were very good, like the code that protected everybody, was being dismantled from 206, 205 on to where it is now, where it's totally disheveled.
Of course, I mean, I follow a lot of stuff, so I probably got like 100 questions to ask you. Also, I used to invest with Freeze Associates, and your guy, your administrative assistant, said that the money that you guys are investing in that blue chip fund or whatever fund it was in was losing money, and some folks on this pension board saying, I'm not so sure of that. What's going on with that?
Well,
How much do you guys invest in?
Well, there's a lot of money invested, and what my chief executive assistant saw, he's from Wall Street, he saw that they were losing money at a time where the bond market's done its record-breaking process in the last, last year we've seen the highest record. We should have been making money. Instead, we had 7-8 years of losing money. And during a bull market, you need to make money with your pension. So he was right about that. He was trying to find out what was wrong with it, and he didn't get the right answers. But yeah, hopefully they'll hire a consultant and do a better job, get some good people on the board.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in while we're having an incredible conversation with County Executive Tom Gordon. Sometimes I call people by their first name because I've worked for him or so many different people. And we ask all the good questions here. That brings me to this question. Do you think that you were unfairly targeted?
I'm sure.
And let me ask you a double question on that. Do you think the federal government spent way too much money to get a misdemeanor charge?
I think they spent $20 million.
For misdemeanor?
Yep. And
what was the gist of all that?
I think it was political.
From where?
From
Comcalli?
From Comcalli, absolutely.
But why?
Well, who knows? But
do you think he wanted to?
Don't know what the reason was, but the public elected me after all those bad articles back in office with a mandate, and we're just going to focus on the future.
Do you see yourself? I mean, I know it's always the politically correct answer to say I'm just doing my job here now and this. Can you run again after this?
Sure.
As for county executive, you can.
Yes.
I thought that.
No, it's you can't go more than 8 years.
Oh, so you could run for re-election?
Yeah, if I choose to.
Wow. Have you thought about running for?
I've only been in office 4 months. I'm 60 years old now. I'm a lot older. I was 43 when I did it before, and we'll have to see.
Wow. Because at that one time, I mean, I remember because you and I worked.
Right.
I worked for you. They were talking about you running for governor. Do you ever regret not doing that then?
Well, sometimes, but you can't spend a lot of time worrying about the past. You got to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. We got a lot of tough problems ahead.
What are the big projects you see yourself working on now?
We're going to have to get this whole land use stuff in the county. That's a big thing because it's 450 square miles, and it's all about development and what development. The other thing is crime. Crime is a problem for the county as it is the city, and without getting the crime under control, you're not going to be able to do economic development. And that's probably the third thing we've got to worry about is trying to attract businesses that can help us in small businesses that can grow because the economy's in trouble.
You've come back, right, and you're dealing with issues that normally a county executive don't take on. I mean, for instance, education. I mean, I see where you hired Maurice Pritchett, who's a good friend of mine, as a political consultant. Why?
Because I could see the charter schools that were growing in the county. And charter schools, a lot of them are good, but some it's at a point now where it's just to get the kids out of school, put them in another school. You're busing full 4 school districts in the city. It's hurting the children in the city. You don't need to spend a lot of time in the city to know that they need schools that are closer to the city or in the city. And we know that it's hurting, and we always have that feeling that it's hurting. And I said, let's get the numbers because the numbers are going to show it. Let's have the courage, and the mayor took it on to ask the hard questions about is this hurting our kids, and do we need to do this? Why just the city are we busing? And I think it's forcing charter schools, which I think people want to get out of the schools. And I think charter schools are good, but the more you do, you're taking it from public school. So what's going to happen is you're going to have the poorest and the most underachievers in public schools failing, with the good teachers going to charter schools. And that's what Pritchard was teaching me and others. And I said, let's call the question. Why do we need to do busing? Let's just, it failed. It's hurting the city. If that's a fact, let's come together and fix it quickly because you got a tremendous dropout rate in the city. And it's got to be because of this. And if I'm wrong, we'll go out about our way. If I'm not, let's get it fixed this year.
But at least you're trying.
I'm going to do it. We're not going to stop. We got good people. The mayor has taken a charge on it. He's got other things set up right now. He's going to put together some committees. He's got us going down to the University of Delaware, talking to some experts. Jay Streets is a tremendous resource. It's been his whole life's fight. Jay set out an agenda for the mayor saying, here's what you got to do. And Jay's going to take a lead with the mayor, and they're going to get it done. I'm confident. If Jay gets the support of the mayor, that combination will change the problem that Jay's been fighting about for 30 years. It's going to get changed.
You've talked a little bit, we've touched on it about crime in the city. Do you see the partnership with your police force and the city police force coming together?
Yeah, it already is. Nobody wants a metropolitan. People in the city don't want it, people in the county don't want it. But what you do need to do, the department really don't cooperate or talk like they should. But with today's age of computers, if, for example, there's a county car half a block outside the city and you got a murder going on in the city, he doesn't know about it, he or she doesn't see it, and they don't respond. So the idea is, I always had, when I was executive before, the county police and state and the city police were sworn in with each other's jurisdictions. What we got now is the ability to put it on the computer so that the Wilmington cop can see out inside in the county, one block, there's a fight in progress. Under certain rules, he can respond out, and vice versa. We see a rape occurring or a burglary occurring, county police officer should be able to respond inside the city and help if they need help. And with the computers nowadays, there's no excuse for not doing that. And we're doing a lot of other things with the two police departments to make it seamless. The only people who are benefiting by the police departments not being seamless is the criminals. Because they're going back and forth, and it's not always crime going out in the county, it's crime going from the county into the city a lot of times.
Yeah, this is a fascinating interview. You know, I love interviewing folks where I could just ask them 1,000 questions, and this is getting really good. Do you think, right, that there will be a primary sometime between? Do you think our Attorney General's serious about maybe primarying?
I wish he would, but I don't know if he is. It's still early.
Well, tell me how you really feel.
I think he'd be a good senator.
Okay. Well, let's open up the phone lines. Put the phone number up. Take a few calls. I really enjoy just asking like all the tough questions. I like when guys come back with the tough answers. Let me ask you, what has anything been frustrating you so far with your new council?
No, I think I could do a better job of communicating with them. I got involved with a lot of issues that I think were pending in the development area and some of the other areas where I think it was broke, and I need to do a better job, I think, of communicating with them. And
that was the nice answer.
That's the truth. Okay. And I need to work harder.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yes, hi. I just have a comment for Mr. Tom Gordon. I'd like to say, congratulations, to your position, and that I also think that Mayor Williams is doing a good job, and he needs to stay on track. He's doing a good job, and he's doing that. The cleanup is necessary. It's long overdue, and he needs to stay on track. Also, do you think that, just with two questions, do you think that it would be wise for the Wilmington Police Department, which is long overdue, to get a homicide unit, okay? And homicide units do things a little bit differently than sending out your regular detectives. Their focus is on homicide. And then also, I understand he talked about he wants, the city of Wilmington to grow. Mr. Gord, you want the city of Wilmington to grow, and about the shopping, keep the businesses, people shopping downtown. But the downfall is the businesses close at 5 p.m. Is there any way that the businesses will be able to stay open later than 5 p.m.? And what about L&I basically doing something with some of the abandoned buildings and also getting more quality shops downtown?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let me take that one last. That's a good question for the mayor. I can tell you what I know. He's meeting with the businesses. He's trying to deal with everything from the parking meters to getting the money to go into the city, into these businesses. And I've been with him on some public hearings. And he's got people coming into the city. I know that he wants to keep it open. He wants to keep it vibrant. He knows he's got to deal with the crime, including in the inner city. He's got to deal with the panhandlers. And it's all a problem because it's poverty, it's people that don't have opportunities, people that are starving. On the other hand, you've got the corporate capital of the world here where the state's making most of its money. So he is on top of it. And that lady seemed to really know what she was talking about. And I don't have his number, but I would call the mayor's office because he takes every call and he gets a response to it. And there's very possibly a committee that she could get on that would be very helpful to her.
Okay, thank you. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to ask Tom Gordon if he can explain how he chose Maurice Pritchard to be his educational type of liaison, if you will, when Mr. Pritchard never ran a school. And I'd like him to connect the dots between himself, Mr. Pritchard, and Mr. Street.
First of all, that's not true. Mr. Pritchard ran Bancroft for like 30 years. That's okay. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
I could answer that.
I know you can.
Hey there, Norman. Nancy Willing here.
How you doing?
Well, I want to straighten you out a little bit on why Christiana felt they had to have. Let me mute myself. Why Christiana wanted the security. Some members of the board weren't worried about Mr. Street. They were worried about who he might have incited, the unknown person that might have taken him seriously. He gets a little bit. He gets into that strong language and.
So Nancy, are they going to have that security when they have those meetings out in the county in the suburbs? So they have police out there.
Yeah, there's somebody they've contracted security for each of their next meetings. So yeah, I would say yeah.
Yeah, I think it's foolish. But go ahead.
But,
anything else?
No, just to give a shout out to Tom and the good work he and Dave Grimaldi are doing, and everybody else. I think that focus on bringing county and city together in planning is important. I've sat around for the last 8 years and saw that they kept them separate, and they just ignored the county, ignored the city, and so it's high time that they're doing something together, and they're doing a lot on a lot of levels. So good going, and thanks a lot.
And what's the name of your blog?
Delaware Way.
Oh, Delaware Way. She hung up.
Delaware Way.
You said something, and I was going to question metropolitan government. Do you think it's high time that we look at the city and county, or just becoming one government in Newcastle County?
I think before you go there, I think the city has to have the ability to be like every other city. And I think the reason the city failed is for a lot of reasons, but one of it is they're treated differently than every other city, and that's annexation and the way everything is driven into the city. That.
But if it become one government, you would have annexation.
I don't think it's supported by the city folks, and I don't think it's supported by the county folks.
So you don't think it'll come?
I think that what we're doing, the Dennis, Mayor, and I, are something in between.
Okay.
Where we can combine in resources together. They can keep their principal leaders in the city, and the county keeps their leaders. But where we can cooperate with the policing and planning and others, we're going to do helping out on these issues with the school. I think it could be the same as being a metropolitan government, where we're two good friends. We've known each other 30 years, 40 years, and there's an opportunity where we're not going to be competing, but realizing that our mission is very much connected.
Okay. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi. I just want to thank Tom Gordon for putting back Sleeping Under the Stars. That's a nice event for families to go out to. And I really thank you for putting it back and giving us an extra spot this year down in Glasgow, Delaware.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and that's something we're going to do more of. When you have all these families that are fighting so hard to get through the week with 2 jobs each, to be able to throw things in a park where they can bring their children for hardly any money at all, it's something that we should never have stopped. And we're going to try to think of other events like that where families can go to these beautiful parks for the weekend and have some good old-fashioned fun. And so I appreciate your comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I just was. I know Tom's county council, but I would like to know if he can encourage those representatives that take care of Vanderbilt Avenue. If he round out Vanderbilt Avenue, it's like riding on a roller coaster or bumper cars. So, if he can pass that on to the representatives, do that because it's terrible.
Okay, thank you.
The Maryland Avenue?
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, hello?
Hello? Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to know, I know Reverend Bullock is the council president.
Uh-huh.
Am I correct? I haven't heard anything, no relationship between Tom Gordon and Reverend Bullock or Dennis Williams. I would just like to know, has he tried to, create a relationship with Reverend Bullock, or what's his status on, what Reverend Bullock doing, and why he's not in the conversation?
Well,
Good question.
I just assumed that you knew that we ran together, and we're good friends, and he's the president of the council. And we were talking about Wilmington and county issues. As if the Reverend was here, he would probably agree with you on most of what I said. The discussion with council is, I was very glad to see that he won, and he's like me, is getting his feet wet. But everything I do in the county, I do with the President Bullock.
I think, and also, I've been asking that question a lot. Whereas Reverend Bullock been on a lot of these issues, they haven't seen or heard anything. I think that, county government is so complex, and it's such a learning curve. I mean, when I was city councilman, it took me about 2-3 years to just figure stuff out. And I could just imagine county council, because you got the county codes, the redevelopment codes, you have, all these water and sewer issues. I mean, it's the complexity. And I know Penrose's been working on this stuff for 30 years. I mean, it's still just trying to figure that stuff out is like nightmare, right?
Well, the President Bullock immediately started doing something with minority vendors. He came out and had meetings, and he's throwing a conference. He's involved in building a library with me in Route 9 area. Mm-hmm. He's involved in also running the county council.
Okay.
And it's a part-time job. He's doing it pretty much full-time and running a church. So, not to speak for him, but he's got his hands full, and he's doing a whole lot of things I could sit here and talk to you about. But
are you guys allies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So in other words, that's his job to keep council off your back.
Well, he's got to manage 12 people.
Yeah.
And it's complicated.
It's not easy. Yeah. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yes. How you doing there, Norm and Tom?
Hey, how you doing?
The question I want to know is, can the county exec and the mayor get together with to try to find out how come the people in the city and in the county losing their homes behind these banks, to try to help the people keep their homes and stuff.
I think it's real possible.
Thank you.
And I think you bring up a good point. If the mayor and I started talking to these banks, we might be able to slow some of this down. And that's something that I'll put on our agenda, because we have brought the banks in just solely as the county. But I think anytime the mayor or I, or the council mayor and I, both councils, you have a whole lot more. You're speaking for 2/3 of the state living in the county. And I think it's something that I'll bring up to the mayor and our council and try to talk to.
Okay. If you just tuned in, I'm talking to County Executive Tom Gordon. If you have a question, please call in. The number is listed. And also, I probably should apologize, for hanging up on a guy, but Mr. Pritchett is such a good friend of mine, and he's been such an advocate for kids for so long. And he's been a principal, so he has worked in the schools. And I probably should let you answer the question. I probably should let the guy answer.
Mr. Pritchett is gathering the number, but Jay Streets is the absolute leader in this. And Jay's a full-time council person. Mm-hmm. We gave a grant to get numbers, which will help the mayor and help Jay figure out where they're going to go.
So Pritchett's job is just to gather the numbers, the data.
Absolutely. Get the information together. Nobody can replace the chairman of the board, which has been Mr. Streets.
Yeah.
And and they're going to take the numbers, and Jay has already recommended that we contact the University of Delaware, and we're doing that. And he provided a whole lot of insight with his 30 years to the mayor, and the mayor is going to take the lead at this point. Okay. And he's going to do what he wants to do and take the information that he wants to make the issue that he wants to make, which is that something's wrong with this school. We cannot accept this dropout rate for our kids in the city. We're not going to accept it, and we're going to do what it takes to get our children better educated.
How you doing? Welcome to the show. Hello? Hello? Hello. Well, I mean, I think that we definitely have to look at our schools, districts, and the whole policy when you have dropout rates at alarming rates. What's your relationship with the governor? Do you guys talk? I mean, do you have some things that work together?
Yep, we've talked a few times about economic development. We've talked about the school problems like this, and I'd say the governor's very busy, but I've had quite a few conversations with him, and we're talking about economic development opportunities. So I think the governor's trying hard every day. He's up against the wall, and when he brings all these jobs in, you see AstraZeneca taking 225 out. It's tough, and 1,200 out, 2,400 out rather. He's up. It's a national problem. It's a United States problem. And it's a Delaware problem. That we've lost a lot of manufacturing and a lot of good businesses. But the governor's trying his hardest to try to every day bring something back.
Am I wrong to think that creating jobs and economic improvement will solve a lot of the crime?
Absolutely. The problem with the city is opportunity and poverty.
That's what I've been saying forever.
It absolutely is. And that's why I'm so sensitive about the port. We got to focus on the port and make sure that it increases, not decreases.
I'm going to ask you, let me take this call. I'm going to ask you about that. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm calling. I'm wondering what is being done. I mean, we have a lot of men, young men, older men that have been incarcerated, can't find jobs, and I know there's programs for it, but it's not really working for a lot of men. And I'm just wondering if the county and the city are really working to bring jobs.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good question. The problem is you can do all this teaching people how to get jobs, but there are no good jobs, I think. I think they're few and far between. And it's incumbent upon the governor, the county executive, and the mayor. First of all, we need to get more jobs brought into the city, not elsewhere. But we've got to work on it every day, and I think we need to do more because that is a problem. I mean, you can teach people how to get jobs, but if you don't have good paying jobs, they're not going to do well.
How you doing? Welcome to the show. Yeah, I think something's wrong with her phone. We talked about the port, right? Do you think that was the right move for them to halt that whole port deal?
Yeah, I do. I think that you've got to find someone that's interested in growing that port with the jobs that we have. Right now we have,
Turn your TV down.
We have 1,500 people employed there. We should look at the plans to take that to 3,000. We should look at opportunities to bring more sale items into Delaware.
But do you think Kinder Morgan?
I don't think they were the right choice.
Why?
Because I think it would have been a more focus on petroleum fuel and less on the perishables and the other items that I think make the port. Mm-hmm. And I think that I don't think long term they would have kept the employees as we needed.
Okay. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yes, good afternoon or evening, rather.
Good evening.
I'd like to know why they always talking about getting jobs when the computer is taking care of everything.
Okay, thank you. She said, I guess because it's a computer age, it seems like that's cutting more of the jobs, because the computer does a lot of things that people would normally do.
We sent all of our manufacturing jobs overseas. They're still making things in China and India. We're not making it here. If you don't make something, you don't make money. Service job, what we're left with does not buy houses. So people are still making things. Computers have cut down in a lot of areas on manpower staffing. But there are still opportunities to make things and create manufacturing jobs, like the automobile plants, that we have to focus on and get back here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Storm. Leroy Tice calling.
Hey, Tice.
First of all, I wanted to applaud the county exec for the diversity in his hiring.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to ask him if that was intentional, because I'd assume it had to be. And I don't need to mention certain names, but he put African Americans and other minorities in key roles. So again, I want to applaud him for that.
Thank you.
That's all I wanted to say.
It was intentional. They're very qualified, and we're going to focus on issues that involve not only the African American community but the rest of the county as a whole. And I'm very proud of my record there, and we're going to continue to give opportunities to people that qualify. But I appreciate the comment.
That was good. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Norm, and good evening, Tom. This is Mike Riley.
Hey, Mike.
I tried calling you or texting you.
I know. I got to get back with you, Tom. Thanks for returning my call.
Okay.
First of all, I just want to say this is a great show tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, and I feel that County Executive Tom Gordon can hold his head up wherever he goes, because whenever he's involved in something, he's genuine in his approach, He supports the people, and that's why he got back in office, is because of the people, not politics. You know, and definitely Mr. Pritchett doesn't have anything to apologize for, because anything that he has gotten has been earned by his service and his experience. He's my former principal. Norm, he's yours. I was surprised when that person said he never ran to school.
Right.
I laughed at that because, I mean, he is definitely qualified and above ground in everything that he's doing. And I'm just going to continue to watch tonight, man. You guys are doing a wonderful job tonight. I'm being informed, as usual, on Community Crossfire. And that's coming from in the other room.
Thank you.
Let me say it. Maurice Pritchard is a leader in this community. He's an outstanding principal, and you know, I don't think there's anybody better out there that could be helping right now. He has Mayor Sills helping him. I mean, we've got a good team that's gathering the information and statistics.
You know, last time you were in office, though, right? The economy was different. I mean, you know, regardless what people say about Sherry Freeberry, she was a clever person in understanding the system, and she had a legal background and all that. You guys were good when you went down to state and you got taxes. You got what taxes did you get for this county?
We had 0.5% of a transfer tax.
Transfer tax.
Some other money.
And that really boosts you guys up.
Right.
Now you come back in this time around, and the money's kind of dried up. Some of the growth that you saw in some of those other areas have decreased. So that does create a whole different challenge. When you were able to say this,
what you have to do is you have to break up the formula. You know, 75% or 73% of the money comes from Newcastle County. It used to be 65 out of the city, and we sent it to Kent and Sussex, and we equalized.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean everything's a third.
Wow.
And it's time to say, you know what?
But nobody's down with Kent and Sussex.
We got to break up. That's right. We got to take a look at the formula and say, look, the city's failing. Sussex County's doing really well. You know, most of them don't pay for police, and they pay a little for services that the city pays for, the county pays for. We have to make the argument that structure was made 60, 70 years ago when 1,000 people live in the city, and probably another 150 in the rest of the state. So it was natural for the city to pay for the rest of the state. But the city can no longer afford to pay for the rest of the state. And it's time that after the schools, we got to get into that, you know, the redistribution of wealth.
Yeah. Is it frustrating also, like when you run for office, right? And everyone, you get a lot of people think or they're supposed to have a job with you. You know what I mean? I mean, you say you got, I don't know, say 10,000 votes, you got 30,000 people say they helped you out. How do you manage that?
It's difficult. You know, I'm going to try to provide real opportunities for everybody, for every job that opens up. I've only been here 4 months. So what happens these days is it used to be that government was not a good place to work, and the private sector was. Now, private sector no longer pays good salaries. They don't have defined benefits. They hardly have health care. And the governments do. They do very well. So it's a job that everybody wants. And what I've got to do is make sure that I give everybody that can compete in an equal opportunity to compete for government jobs, and then try to create private sector jobs.
You're police chief, right? So is he still on board? How did that work? Because I know at one point he was the chief of police was supposed to have certain degrees and blah, 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 blah.
It was always equivalent. They changed it. They changed the system. I didn't. And we put it back. Elmer Setting is chief of police, and he's done a fantastic job in 4 months with computers and predictive policing and dropping the crime rate and helping out and trying to help out the city. So I'm very pleased with the job he's done, and it worked out very well.
So you have some of the same crime problems in the county?
There's no difference between Edgemoor and Route 9. I mean, we're all one big family here, and the crime is no different. And it's going to continue to grow in the county. And we are all fighting the same enemy, you know, whether it's drugs or burglaries or homicides. You know, it's pretty similar. And I just know we can do a much better job cooperating.
You were they call it colonel.
Chief of police.
Chief of police, same thing at the county, right? When you were the chief of police, what was some of the most difficult things? What was some of the most difficult cases or things that you had to deal with?
Well, your difficult cases are always your drug cases, your rapes, where they're stranger rapes. We used to have a lot of them, and of course your homicides, especially the ones they call them whodunit, where there are no good clues. And we had some professional hits back then, as you do now. Now it's pretty much drug related, especially in the city. It's fighting over, we didn't have a whole lot of that when I was chief, where you're fighting over street corners. It's now, most of your murders are drug related.
Is that right? What do you think the drug of choice is now in the county? I mean, is it heroin? Is it coke?
It's going to be heroin. It was prescription drugs. It goes through a cycle. It was prescription drugs, both in the county and the city, and now we've cracked down on doctors that are given prescriptions, and then the void is now being filled with heroin, which is even more serious.
Wow. Is it anything like horrific happened when you were on the force that you said, wow? I mean, like, I could just see. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We had, as I said, we had some real serious rape cases. We had a serial murder, if you remember, the first one where Stephen Pinnell had killed 7 people, 6 people. And those were very concentrated, and it took a lot of effort and staffing to solve those cases. But I unfortunately had that when I was chief, and actually was a captain of detectives during the serial murder.
What are you going to concentrate on these next 3 years?
I'm going to concentrate on what we talked about. We're going to concentrate on crime, economic development, and trying to bring both the city and county back together, which is a big task. But by educating the public in the state of Delaware with the problems that we all have with our population, and focus on the poor, because I see it happening all over the county. I said when I was executive last time, I never had homeless people. Now we have people that are hungry, and I'm going to try to keep an eye on that. Meet with the food bank, try to coordinate some of that. What you do, we're giving away turkeys. I mean, we need to expand that, and we need to keep an eye on that. And I think there's not many opportunities for people to have houses anymore. You get on that Section 8, and you never change. However number you have today, you have tomorrow. Nobody ever gets an opportunity to get on it. I don't know what the answer is.
Very rarely, when I get a chance to interview folks, and the people outside here, I may know. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get here, and who's Tom Gordon?
I was born in 2515 Monroe Street.
Okay.
And I spent 22 years of my life in the city. And I grew up, moved to close to Warner School, where I spent 10 years. And then I went to Slasianum, Christ our King. Then I got married and moved around, ended up in Hockessin, where I am now. And I came on the police department at a young age, probably 23 years, and worked my way up through the ranks and got a master's degree, and went to the FBI Academy, went to Secret Service School, and all the education I could get. I was chief of police from 89 to 205. I get confused because it runs together. And then it was 89 to 205, and then I became county executive in 1996.
And Tom, people don't realize you've dealt with some tragedies in your life.
Yep.
With families and friends. I don't know if you feel open about that, but I think that's
it's been
you've
tough.
overcome.
I spent a lot of time at work, and wish I had spent more time with my family, as most people do when they're. But I've always had jobs that were very demanding, and as I am now, I'm trying to not find myself working as I do 12 hours a day.
Do you think that just come with age?
Well, I'm a lot older now. I mean, I can see the difference when I was 43 before. Now I'm 60.
Okay. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Storm. I am so very proud of you as the way in which you have developed the Community Crossfire show with these kind of very educational and informative interviews. So I want to commend you first, Storm. You do a great, great job with this.
Thank you.
Secondly, I want to say to my good friend, County Executive Tom Gordon, we go way back.
Yes, we do.
And Tom, I am so very, very proud of you as well. I've said to people that with your experience as a police chief and all your involvement and all that you did, I remember you as police chief organizing the effort and raising money to build that PAL Center in Garfield Park that stands there today. You've always been very actively involved as a chief, and you became much more actively involved as county executive in your first 2 terms. And I've said to people that Tom was going to hit the ground running, pick up the pieces. I think your comment was right on time, that you felt you could better communicate with the county council, and if you guys come together with your leadership in county council and you guys get on board together, working with Mayor Dennis P. Williams and hopefully our president and our city council, it's not too much we can't get done. General Assembly will be impressed, and then the votes will be there in the whole nine. So I just commend to both of you gentlemen, Storm, you and County Exec Tom Gordon.
Hey, Herm,
love you guys.
Hey, Herm, hold, time out. Before you hang out. What's going on with the Housing Authority?
Well, the Housing Authority is now, as you know, has a full new board, Norman. And God bless those that, have served and have been on for 8 and 10 and 12 years and all that. And the decisions they made, Storm, they made them for the reasons that they felt they should. A lot of us, like yourself and others, we have felt that a lot of those decisions could have been made another way. You talk about creating employment, you're talking about putting people to work, and a lot of our work, Norman, was going out of town to Philadelphia. It would bother me going to my church, Mount Joy, Norman, right around the corner from my house, where I live, and to walk through the development here in Southbridge every Saturday or Sunday morning and see these trucks 215 doing complete gut jobs and getting to work, and our guys here in Wilmington not working at all. So we're looking at trying to tighten up on these kinds of things.
So I'll break the stories here. Hey, look, one quick question. So right now, because everyone, maybe tell me if I'm wrong, most folks have resigned off the board, and you like the senior most member on the board now, and you've only been there for like 6 weeks, right?
Well, I'm the senior most new member, but I am a former commissioner of Wilmington Housing Authority when our good friend, the late Tom Maloney, appointed me to that board back in 74, 75, and 76. I served that board under Tom Maloney when he appointed me, and I resigned to run for the legislature and won the seat in the House. So I bring all that with me, and God knows I don't know everything, but we have a very energetic new board, and we're going to be really putting everything under the microscope, Norman, if you will, to make sure that everybody gets a fair play.
Well, I'll break the story here, man. I'd like to get you and Fred Pinnell on here and give a good hug. All right, thanks.
Let me say that he's being nice, but he very much was with me when we built the Pal Center. His father, I go way back, was an advisor of mine. And he used to take these young police officers when I was down in General Assembly, and he used to take me aside and tell me how to get some of the bills that we were concerned about at the time. And there's nobody better than his son right now to take lead and do good things. He always has. I mean, Herman's helped me out when I was executive before, and we had to make tough decisions, and he remains a really close advisor now. I'm very proud to say, and also a friend.
Okay, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm actually an ex-employee of Thomas P. Gordon. I'm not sure if you recognize, of course you probably wouldn't recognize my voice, it was over 20 years ago, but my name is Stephanie Bassett, and I wanted to give praise to Thomas P. Gordon for being such a great boss, and I'm extremely proud of the accomplishments you've done throughout the course of the years, and I know the best is yet to come from you, and yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for everything. I just missed you. I was just out at the show not even a half an hour ago, and had I known you were there, I would have waited, but I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm extremely glad that you're back in office.
You made my day, and I thank you so much.
Okay. I tell you, you watch this show with no telling what might happen. So let me give a quick shout out. People are texting me like they pay for this show, Tom, and I would like to get like one donation.
Yeah.
Bob Cannon sends me back. Her name is Brianna Harvey. I couldn't just say Bree Harvey. Brianna. Happy birthday to Brianna, her 21st birthday. Then I get another text from Donna Brown.
How many phones you got?
Like 15. Happy belated first birthday to Chancey Patton on March the 30th from Mom, Erica, and her mammy, Donna Brown. Wow, she give me a whole list of stuff. Wow, can you imagine? So it's good, man. I'm so glad you came on the show, though.
It's a great show. I also think you run a great show here.
I think that we get it, and it's nothing staged. So you can't come on here.
Tough questions.
I'm going to ask you tough questions. I saw a couple of my cousins at I saw Deanie and Doc and all those guys, Prince, all those guys at Alexa's wedding. They said, Norm, keep up the good work. I see people riding around. People tell me all the time that they enjoy it because they know you're going to get the tough questions. Show. But it's even better when people stand up and answer the questions. Yep. Because I don't like people just, we'll take one more call. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Norman, it's Mark.
Uh-huh. Go ahead, you got a question? Hi, Mark. I didn't know if I was supposed to say hi, Mark. And also, don't forget, this Monday, tomorrow is going to be the Millie Cannon celebration at the Monday Club. You should come on by. I know that Bob Cannon, they're going to give out $500 scholarships. Also, next Saturday, the African American Sports Hall of Fame. So a lot of good stuff is coming up, man.
Great.
Hold up, maybe Mark's trying to get Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Uh-huh.
Newman?
Yeah, good. I'm here, Mark. Go ahead.
I won 10 place in basketball.
Okay. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Norm.
Yeah.
Getting Dryden here, brother. How you doing?
How you doing?
All right. Hey, look, my question for the county exec was, I was looking at a report of the diversity workforce for the Newcastle County that shows that they have 1,393 full-time employees, and out of that, there were less than 200 from the minority group. I was wondering how the county exec expected to or would work on a commitment in seeing that to do better moving forward.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to let him answer too. Were those merit system jobs pretty much, and those people that you can't move because they've been there like dinosaurs, like he was saying? I mean, some of them people like. I'll let you answer it. Thank you for the call. Good question.
You're right. We have to do better. I'm going to lead by example. I have a very diverse cabinet right now, and every day I work on how we're going to make the rest of the workforce diverse. And
Okay.
you're absolutely right.
Well, at least you got Josie Roy there.
She's great.
Josie
got a lot of good
Josie got the hammer.
She's got the community.
She's always a good person, man. I've learned a lot from her. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you continue to enjoy the shows. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, man. It was a great show.
It's always a good show, man. Hey, God bless you guys, and let's try to get the mayor or the attorney general,
Get the mayor here.
or even the governor on next week. Let's have some fun. We out of here, man. Good show.